Hi guys, my name is Trinity, and if you have found me, you must be here to talk about books, because that's why I'm here, to talk about books. And in today's video, I am going to be doing a book haul. I said I was not going to do another book haul. And if you guys are interested in seeing me haul some books, I will tell you that I usually do my hauls in my vlogs because I buy so many. But I decided why not just go ahead and do a small book haul for you guys today, books that you guys have not yet seen, and just talk a little bit about them while I don't have 40 books on hand. So the first books that I want to talk about is the Remnant Chronicles by Mary Pearson. I read the first book in this series and then was devastated to find out that the library only carried the first book. So I went ahead and bought them. I really enjoyed the first one. You guys can watch my last wrap up to see my thoughts on that. But Heart of Betrayal, I am definitely going to be reading very soon because of the way the first book ended. But I'm very excited to get to the rest of the Remnant Chronicles. The next book is one that I tried to get the arc of it and I didn't get it. And I think that it sounds like it's going to be completely up my alley because political fantasy and witches, those are two of my favorite things. But that would be A Declaration of the Rights of Magicians by H.G. Perry. And this is about the Age of Enlightenment and how witches, witchcraft, magicians, legislation, and all of that stuff works together. So I'm very, very excited to get to this one. I have heard a couple of people talking about it, and the people who have read it have said great things, but they like the same things that I do. Again, political fantasy mixed with witchcraft. So two of my favorite things paired together. It could be disastrous. It could be amazing, but there's only one way to find out, and that is read it. So I'm very, very excited to get to this one. All right. And shout out to Elliot Brooks. I feel like I shout her out in every video because she is the person that I trust the most on BookTube. Fireborn by Rosario Munda. Elliot talks about it so dang much that I was like, okay, I'm gonna go pick it up and see what I think about it. But I only got the first one. I do want to make sure that I like this series before picking up the rest of the books. I think only the second book is out so far. But I am intrigued enough to read this one. I might add this one to my May TBR. I'm not sure. I do have quite the TBR coming up for May, so we'll see. Now, these next two, if you guys have been following my Twitter, you know that I have asked on Twitter what are some series that I need to pick up outside of the big ones, because while I do enjoy some Brandon Sanderson, there's a lot of the popular authors that I have no interest in, and I wanted to see what people are reading outside of those fantasy novels so I can get a little bit more into fantasy without having to tackle the big ones. We won't drop names in this video. But Peter Newman's The Vagrant was one that came up quite a bit. It says, "The vagrant is his name, he has no other. Friendless and alone, he walks a desolate, worn-torn landscape. His purpose is to reach the Shining City and deliver the only weapon that may make a difference in the war. But the Shining City is far away, and the world is a very dangerous place." So I don't know anything about this, but this was one that the second it was mentioned, it was echoed quite a bit. So I'm very excited to tackle this as well. and one that comes up on my Twitter feed all the time. All the time. Priest of Bones by Peter McLean. This is War for the Rose Throne, that series. And I've heard this is dark. That is what I know about this. And I know that it has a lot of political intrigue in it as well. And if I'm not mistaken, I think this leans toward urban fantasy. Don't quote me on that. But I'm actually friends with Peter McLean on Twitter, and I probably see this so often because of that. But I do know a lot of people who have read it as well and really, really loved it. And Sam, one of the people that I follow that actually has very, very, very similar tastes to me, has really enjoyed this. So I wanted to give it a go. One of my most anticipated releases, the year that it was released, and one of the books that has been on my TBR for so long, or feels like so long, that I cannot wait to get to. The Book of Coley. I finally picked it up by M.R. Carey, and Horizon Zero Dawn in book form. I've talked about this book way too much, but I finally picked it up. Next would be The Rose Code by Kate Quinn. Now, this is a historical fiction with sci-fi elements, so I'm very, very intrigued to get to this. If you don't know, Kate Quinn also wrote The Alice Network, which is a book that a lot of my shelf space buddies have read and loved, but with the sci-fi elements of this one, I was very, very drawn to it, so I went ahead and picked it up. Now, here is a book that, again, has been on my TBR for quite some time. It is from an author that I already love, and that would be My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. If you don't know about Grady Hendrix, he writes cheeky horror novels, and if you can't tell by the cover here, we're dealing with some very 80s themes, but this is supposed to be a commentary on depression and anxiety, along with the little horror elements of this book and Grady Hendrix's cheeky writing, and so I am very, very excited about this. The next two actually stemmed from the Twitter question as well, and that would be these two. First two books in the series by Luke Arnold. And I have a thing with Orbit books, guys, just so you know. I believe the first one is Dead Man in a Ditch. This one, and then this one is the second one, I think. I'm not sure. But this is another series that has come up as a must-read by my Twitter followers. And so I'm very excited to get to this. And Luke Arnold is one of the stars of Black Sails, I think. Yes. He's an actor, one of the stars of the Black Sails. Or Black Sails. But I'm very, very excited to get to this one as well. I've heard nothing but good things about it. So next we have the book that I got in my Owl Crate, and this is one that I have actually been waiting on for some time because the publication date kept getting pushed back, but I'm very, very excited to be reading Witches Steeped in Gold finally. Now, I will probably do a vlog of reading my Owl Crate books because adding them to my TBR didn't quite work out the way I thought that it would. And so I have the Gilded ones, which I have started but haven't finished. Sweet and Bitter Magic and Witches Steeped in Gold. So I will probably do a vlog of me reading my Owl Crate books. And this one, I'm so excited for. I did show this off in my vlog, but let me go ahead and show you guys too. This is the inside cover of the book. Now I know this is the Owl Crate edition, and and not all of the books are going to come out like this, but I was very, very excited to have that art print in the cover. And the last and final book of this haul, I broke down and bought it, guys. I can't resist a pretty book. I can't. I might have had the vaguest interest in this book previously, but when I saw this edition of this book, I couldn't resist buying it. I now own Dune, the beautiful, beautiful copy of Dune. And honestly, I have been very much more into sci-fi recently. And so I did feel like having a collector's edition of a very popular sci-fi series was not out of the realm of, or wasn't quite as insane as it sounds. So I bought the beautiful, pretty, illustrated and embossed copy of Dune. Does this mean that I have to read it now? It probably does, doesn't it? I'll read it. I'm actually kind of excited to read it. And like I said, I have done a couple of hauls in my vlogs if you guys are interested in checking out some of the other books that I have purchased recently. But I was getting a little, let's just say, embarrassed about the amount of books that I had purchased because I got so excited that the bookstores were back open that I just didn't stop going. And that is the most recent purchases that I have made. But like, subscribe, do all the fun things, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.